And I think one of the things too, this was important, very, very important for the DCA and also very important for Nancy Quinn. One of the things to keep in mind is that like the panelists don't, even the people who are like professional arts managers they don't know you, right? Like they don't necessarily know everything about how your organization is run. So it becomes very, very important that you answer all of the questions. Like there's no, and like if a question has like multiple parts, very important to clearly answer each of those parts. And the reason that I know this is a story that so there was one year where I went in and like, you know, as Sarah said, you're reading like 40 or 50 of these. You have a binder that's literally like inches thick that you're going through of material. And there was one application that I read that was for an art sleepaway camp. And I went to an art sleepaway camp and it like changed my life. And it was like this really beautiful thing with all these really amazing activities and like all of these very exciting opportunities for neurodiverse kids. And I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is so exciting. I love it. So I gave it a super high score. We went in for the panel. Everyone had given it a super high score. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is such an exciting program. And then the woman who was leading the panel was like, so who's in charge of the kids? And you could see everyone on the panel like frantically leafing through all the materials being like, is it the person who wrote the application? Is it the executive director? And she was like, I don't know, do you know? And she was like, who are the teachers? And there again, we're like going through all the materials. She's like, how do they pick the teachers? And we're going through them all and we're like, ooh. And so we realized that those questions were not answered. Like the question of who and how were not answered in this application. And so the person leading the panel was like, okay, so you all are suggesting that we use taxpayer money to send a bunch of kids on a bus into the woods with a bunch of strangers? And everyone on the panel was like mortified. We were like, no, we can't do that. Oh no, what have we done? You know, like, what have we done? Yeah. And like they, you know, the conversation around this application drastically changed after that.
Yeah.
But it was a real wake up call to me, certainly as a writer and a panelist, that like you really have to make sure that all of those questions are answered.
Yeah.
Because it makes it, I mean, this is like a pretty extreme example, I think, where you're actually like, oh my God. But yeah, it's important to answer all the questions.
Like scandal in the making. Yeah, I've had that same experience, like you said, in a lesser way, with with organizations where like I know how a theater company works. So when they go, you know, who selects the work, how is work chosen? I'm like, well, the artistic director picks it in this company. I can see. And it's like, did they tell you that? Or are you assuming that? And it's really, really hold you to it.